Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. I know that everyone is super busy, and so we really appreciate you taking time to join us for this short webinar. We're going to try and keep it to an hour for you so that you can get back to work. But we're going to focus on digital marketing today and show you some ways that you can stop feeling like you're throwing so much money away on digital marketing. So I'm really excited to dig into this because it's definitely a pain point that I have had personally for many years. So today, first of all, I'm Craig. I'm the CEO of Sales Nexus. I'm joined today by Mila on our team. She's our marketing manager and our email marketing expert. Welcome, Mila.
Hi, all.
And most importantly, we're joined today by Roger Janik. Roger's the CEO of Fair Marketing, good friend of mine, and Fair Marketing is just a really unique kind of digital marketing partner, and that's why I wanted to make sure that you guys got introduced to Roger. So thanks, Roger, for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you know, I don't know about everybody else on the call. You may have a different perspective on this, but I've talked to a lot of clients, and in fact, just recently, I was talking with a client, and he was just singing the blues about his experience with digital marketing. You know, just, oh my God, I've worked with so many different consultants, and everybody tells me they got the, you know, secret sauce and they know how to solve all my problems. And everybody tells me, well, you're going to have to start paying me several $1,000s a month. And it may take 6 months or more before you actually even see any results. And, you know, how many times do you go through that roller coaster ride and get burned before you just throw up your hands and say, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. You know, and I've been through that experience many times before. You know, if your digital marketing's not working, here's the good news. It's not because it can't work for your business. It's because it's not being done right. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of pretenders in that business, you know, and that's why I'm so excited that Roger's here with us today, because Fair Marketing has developed this really intense process of really looking closely at your business so that they understand what's going to move the needle for you, and not just follow some rote process that they do for every client. So I think he's going to share some of how they do that with us today. I think that's really exciting. You know, this is the problem. And actually, sorry, let me pause real quick because I have a poll I want to launch. You guys should be seeing that now. So if you could give us some feedback on who you are and what your interests are and what you want to learn today in that poll, that would be awesome. That'll help guide the conversation today. So you should see that now and on your screen, and you can start filling in your answers to just a few little questions there so that we have a little sense for where you're coming from and what questions we can best answer for you. As soon as everybody's filled that out, I'll publish the results so that we can all see kind of, you know, who else is concerned about this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah. And then while they're doing that, we could also explain the question and answer and the chat and how they can engage with us.
Yeah, great point. Thank you, Mila. I forgot about that when we opened up. So in the Zoom webinar control panel that came up when you logged on to the meeting, you'll see there's a chat and there's a Q&A. So Mila is keeping an eye on both of those things. So you can type in messages in the chat, and if you have specific questions, you can type those there in the Q&A, and that way Mila can answer a lot of your questions right then and there on a one-on-one basis. And from time to time, when there's something that Mila can't answer or that might be interesting to the rest of the group, Mila will interrupt Roger and I, and we'll try to address those questions for you in the webinar. But we definitely want, the whole point of this is for you to learn something valuable so that you can go and increase your business, grow your business. So whatever questions you have, definitely let us know. That's the best way to do it, via that Q&A. Okay, so let's see. Looks like we've got some good responses here. Let me share those results. So you guys should see that now. So it looks like we got, a few people that are learning about digital marketing, some beginners, no experts. So that's good that you're here, Roger.
It's good. Maybe the questions won't be too difficult.
Right. People that have been doing it for a while, a few that are just getting started. Most people are focused on promoting content, so that's interesting. Some on selling on the website and some on generating leads. A lot of people that don't have any kind of marketing automation at all. A few that have, some basic MailChimp, Constant Contact type tools. A lot of people that don't have CRMs at all. And a lot that have something that we didn't list there. So that's interesting. And most of the audience, about almost half, are spending less than $1,000 on digital marketing today. So limited budgets. So we're going to try to focus today on, tips and tricks that you can do without shelling out a lot of money. And that's the point of this slide. This is my pain point that my experience with digital marketing, like I mentioned earlier, is just you start investing, if you're doing SEO, you got to start paying your consultant, whatever, a couple $1,000s a month or something. And he tells you, well, you're going to probably start seeing results in 6 months. So you're spending all this money from day one, and your potential to make a profit on that investment is way out in the future, months down the road. Even same thing with AdWords, Google AdWords or Facebook ads or something like that. You got to spend some time, you got to spend the money in the platform and run the ads just to start optimizing them and learning and filtering the keywords and targeting audiences and fine tuning things. And then if you're generating sales leads, then you've got to fine tune what happens after you get the conversion on your website, which takes time too. So again, you're going to invest a lot of money over a lot of time and hopefully receive some return on it way down the road. That's the problem with this, right? So that's why I love what Roger's going to show us today so much, because it's a plan that's going to put you on a path to success, that you will see what the plan is and know you're going to see success, based on the details that Roger's going to show us today. So, Roger, I will turn it over to you. I think that you should be able to just hit share your screen and take over on the slides there.
Okay. Let me make sure this is working here. All right.
Yep, we're seeing your screen.
Real quick. All right, is that good?
We see it.
All right, perfect. Okay, well, Craig, thanks so much for the setup and the introduction. And, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what he just said. Hope, you said the word hope. Well, that's one of the things that we want to get away from as an agency, and you as a business owner, is get away from hope marketing. I've been in this business for 15 years now. I started fair marketing in 2005. And through the years, we had ups and downs, and, clients happy, some clients not happy. But, every year we feel like we're getting better and better and more streamlined and more efficient and producing more ROI for our clients. But it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of trial and error. But the one thing, we had this kind of epiphany over the last couple years was, we want to get away from hope marketing as much as possible. We want to have a solid battle plan that will produce solid ROI and solid results. It took a lot to get there. And that's what we call the revenue roadmap, something proprietary that we devised in-house. And that's exactly what it is. It's this kind of very structured, detailed battle plan for you to wisely spend your digital marketing dollars. So you know that you're going to get results, you're going to get ROI, and then you get away from this whole hope marketing concept. And so that's why I'm really happy to share this with you guys today. It's the first time we've actually shared, kind of opened it up and, pulled back the covers and showed the public this revenue roadmap. Now we do it on a one-to-one basis, for clients all the time. But to kind of open it up to everybody, we haven't done that yet. So I'm happy to be able to share that with you guys today. And I hope you get something out of it. Feel free to, jump in with questions either during or after. And then you can always email me, directly at roger@fairmarketing.com. I'll be happy to, answer any questions you might have. But with no further ado, let's kind of dive into, what this revenue roadmap is that we came up with and what it's all about and how it can help you and your business to thrive online. And so it kind of starts with an agenda, setting your goals. What is the goal? What is the overall problem, the obstacle you're trying to overcome? Then building out this revenue roadmap. And then we're going to go through and view some results. We're kind of using a live case study here today. And then some little incentives. I think you're really going to want to hear this at the end. It's some little perks and bonuses for you guys. So kind of wait till the end so we can share that with you. I think you'll be very pleased to hear what we have for you there. And then also Craig and Mila, feel free to interrupt me at any time. So I'm not just the only one talking.
Sure.
Anytime. So let's start with, the goal and we're going to focus this, like I said, it's kind of a live in action case study right now of a client of ours, fountains.com. They sell luxury indoor and outdoor water fountains for, either commercial or residential, really high end fountains that are pricey, but worth it. Very high quality, custom built. So been a client for a few years now. You start out by setting your goal. So with digital marketing, if you don't have a goal in mind, how are you going to build a plan? So that's your first step, right? Like, where are you at now and where do you want to be? It's critical that you set these goals, your sales goals or your KPIs. If you're not doing that, then you can be wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. So starting out with fountains.com in the year 2018, they're averaging 6 clients a month, average sale of $3,500. So that's $20,000 a month, $240,000 a year. Okay. So not too bad. It's a good start, but obviously they had high hopes of doing much better. Most companies want to hit that $1 million mark, hit over $1 million in gross sales each year. And so that's the goal. We asked them, what do you want to achieve? And so the goal is, 1.2 million a year. That's $100,000 a month in sales. And then that equates to a conversion goal of 30 a month. So now we have, we know what the expectation is. What does the client want? And now we know we need to hit, or if the client did this on their own, what I'm about to teach you, I'm going to show you a lot of tools where you can build out this roadmap on your own. You'll know what goal you need to hit. In this case, it's 30 sales per month in order to hit that goal. So it's pretty lofty, but it's something that we were up for the challenge for, and I'll walk you through that. It's also important to know your conversion rate. Define what your current conversion rate. So the amount of visitors that come to their website that convert to an actual paying customer is 0.27. Yeah, I know that seems low, but that is what it is. These are really high dollar items that are custom built. So it may not be as high as some websites, which are like 3%, 5%. But this isn't strictly e-commerce. A lot of people call in for these sales. So let's keep going. Let's talk about the problem that this client's having, but not just this client, almost everybody that comes to us, and the same exact problem that you're probably having, right? Your online competitors are being more aggressive. They have more visibility. Your competitors are grabbing market share. You're probably not viewed as an authority in the eyes of your prospective customers or your competitors. And then at the end of this, you should have an easy to follow roadmap on how you can beat out those competitors and take market share. Because at the end of the day, really, that's what it's about. You know, what are your competitors doing online better than you? So then you figure that out, and then how you can, you know, kind of reverse engineer that and do that better, do it better than them, beat them at the game and take that market share from them, because that's, you know, that's who's beating you right now. And so I'm going to walk you through on how you can do that. So we have this broken up into stages, the revenue roadmap, and it starts with stage one, which is researching the market. We're going to be looking at the, you know, top products that are the hottest. What does the ideal customer look like to you? What are the trends and opportunities in your marketplace? Who are the key players? And where is their geo footprint? What are the top channels your customers are coming in, like Google, Bing, Yahoo? And then what are your competitors doing? What's the competitive intelligence, right? That's step one. I know that's a lot, and we're going to try to get through that pretty quickly today, because otherwise I'd, you know, probably be speaking for about 4 hours. But I'm going to try to go through this as efficiently as possible.
Hey, Roger, quick
yeah.
question on that.
Yeah.
Are you, one of the things that I think you're saying, I just want to confirm, is that you can actually look at businesses' competitors and tell essentially how are they driving traffic to their website? What ads, where are they advertising, what websites are referring traffic and stuff like that?
Yeah, all of that. We can tell you, you know, where their geographic, you know, visibility is. What are the top channels that they're getting their traffic from, whether it be Google, Bing, Instagram, wherever that's coming from. Yeah, and you know, who their demographic, what the demographic makeup is of their customers. Yeah, we can tell you all that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show it to you.
Cool. That's great.
Yep. Stage two is then after you gather all of this intel, which is critical, right? You don't want to waste your time and money, right? It's critical to do stage one. If you're not doing stage one, you're going to waste time and money. Stage two is then planning out your sales funnel. What is your channel strategy? What are those hot channels that you're going to be targeting, where the customers are coming from? Mapping out your funnel. What does your sales funnel look like? What does the ROI projections look like? And then wireframing out your website or your landing pages where they're going to come to. Stage three is actually getting busy, rolling up the sleeves and doing these things, writing ads, designing landing page, deploying ad campaigns. I know this sounds like a lot. You know, it can be a little overwhelming. That's why people hire agencies like ours. But if you are a business owner that has time, there's no reason you can't do this yourself. And I'm going to talk about the tools that will help you do that. Stage four is launching and testing, right? You launch it, you track the performance, you measure the KPIs, you know, are you getting closer to those goals? And then if you aren't, you want to always test and pivot your strategy. Okay, so let's kind of just go ahead and dive in. We're going to start with stage one, which is market research. In this case, for fountains.com, we define all of this: the industry's home and garden, products, luxury water fountains. The ideal customer is landscape architects and interior designers, right? Those kind of contractors will mean bigger business. They've got pre-approved budgets. They're a better target market rather than just residential. Well, you know, that this client does take residential, but these are the big fish. So this is what the ideal customer looks like to them. And then, of course, homeowners with a really high net worth. And the geo target, the footprint here is USA. That's what they want to go after. Okay. And then let's start this by looking at the overall trends and opportunities. Now, I've got links to almost every slide you see here, links to the tools. So once again, if you hit us up afterwards or email me, roger@fairmarketing.com, I'll be happy to send you these tools we're using. In this case, this one's Google Trends. You can go right to Google Trends. And then you can put in the keywords like water fountains, outdoor fountains, garden fountains, the top keywords that your customers may be typing in. And you can see the overall trend and forecast of how popular those topics are over time. In this case, we're looking at a 5-year timeline, and it looks pretty steady. It's a seasonal industry, so it goes up and down every single year. And then towards the end there, you can see it's still pretty consistent. And this is great. The reason you want to look at this is because why put money into a category that may be failing, may be starting to downtrend, but you're about to put all your marketing dollars and efforts into that. That doesn't make any sense. So you want to make sure that your categories are at least staying even, if not moving up, before you pull the trigger on your marketing dollars. The next thing you want to do is identify your key players. We use software called SEMrush. Some people call it SEMrush, which is a fantastic tool for doing competitive intel. A lot of what our competitive intel comes from this tool, especially on the paid search side. And so it will tell you, if you put in your domain or a top competitor domain, it will pull out the top key players in that industry. And to the right, you can see who the established players are, like bhg.com. But then you look to the left and you can see who the game changers are, like homesteady.com, gardenista.com. Those are the up and comers. As they get more traffic, they're going to start pushing to the right and becoming a leader in the industry. So why this is important is because now we can identify the competitors that we want to target and uncover their strategies, right? So we can then, do what they're doing, but do it better. So that's kind of step one, establishing who are you up against? Who are the main competitors, right? Then you want to look at their overall market share in terms of traffic. And this is, once again, coming from SEMrush. And you can see, you can define the main competitors there at the bottom and then look at their traffic statistics. In this case, you can see that fountains.com has only 1,600 per month of traffic in paid pay-per-click. Okay, that's not total. They're closer to like 25,000 to 30,000 a month in total traffic. But once again, you can look at each one of your competitors and see how much traffic they're pulling in and how much market share that they're gaining. And that kind of incentivizes you to say, hey, well, look, there's a lot of opportunity there. I want a piece of that. I want to grab some of the market share from them. And then you can break it down by channel to see what the opportunities are there. You can also then, once again, using SEMrush, you can look at the geo footprint, geo distribution. In this case, most of it is United States, right? So most of your competitors' traffic is coming from the United States. It's interesting to see that Canada and the United Kingdom are on there as well. For morning chores, they get 11% United Kingdom, which is interesting. But this will help you to decide, where are you going to advertise? Where are you going to put either your SEO organic efforts at or your pay-per-click dollars at, social media efforts. In this case, it's really a no-brainer. The United States is dominant. So for this client, we really focused on the USA. Once again, going a little deeper, looking at all the competitors in your industry. For fountains.com, we could look at their demographic breakdown. And once again, we pulled the same stuff from SEMrush. And it's showing that, by far, gardening and landscaping is the main audience interest right here, next to yard and patio below that. And then, the demographic makeup, gender is pretty even split, as you can see here. And then the age range, which is critical, look, 45 to 54 is the main demographic age. And by the way, this is interesting because it's in sync when we talk to the client. They gave us pretty much the same data saying that, yes, the most of the buyers were in that age range of 45 to 54. They actually said a little more male than female because they're dealing with a lot of these landscape architects. So that was interesting. But most of this was pretty in line with their current target market. But once again, this is all about making informed decisions, doing your homework, doing your due diligence before you just dive in and start, spending a lot of time or money or paying a company, to use your money. You want to make sure you're doing that wisely and what you're going after here. The top channels, this is critical, right? So where are the customers coming from? In this case, you can put in the competitors right there up top and hit compare, and it'll show you that most of the traffic is coming from Google and Bing from a channel perspective. Direct, a lot of people are doing direct type-ins. Those are probably a lot of repeat customers. But Google and Bing by far are the two top search engines. Of course, it's no surprise that Google is the big, behemoth here that's really bringing in the most traffic. Why this is important is because now you can start building your revenue roadmap and your strategy, your digital marketing strategy around that channel, because that's where the customers are at. That's where they're hanging out. That's where they're buying. That's where they're coming from and going to your competitors. So now you know that. The competitive intelligence goes further, right? So now for this client, we want to focus more on the paid search side. And we do that. Organic's great. SEO is great. SEO takes a lot more time, guys. It takes 6 months to a year before you get results. It could take longer. Okay. Most clients that we talk to don't want to wait that long. They want results. They want them fast. Paid search is the way to do that. Yes, there's a lot of tweaking and modifying the first, couple months, but you get results instantaneously compared to SEO, because you can have ads up and running within a week or so, maybe a couple weeks if you're really taking your time. So for this client, we really honed in on that, and we looked at, and this tool is called SpyFu. When you go into SpyFu, you can pull your competitors' budgets, and you can look at what they're spending. In this case, we know that this Design Toscano is spending $17,000 a month, right? They're really pushing it hard. And so that kind of gives us an idea, like, do we advise our client to spend some more money? Well, sure, we could do that, but the ROI's got to be there. The forecast for results have to be there. So we're going to dive into the forecast as well. We need to justify increasing a budget, not just increase the budget. Craig, Mila, any questions so far?
No, this is great. And you said that was SpyFu?
Yeah, this one's spyfu.com, right? This is a great tool. We've been using it for years. There's a lot of tools on our arsenal, but I'm going through some of the big ones today.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, it's really good intel. It gets further. So within SpyFu, you can dive down into each competitor, like in this case, Design Toscano, and then you can actually see how many keywords they're bidding on. So in this case, 5,100 keywords, that's 24,000 clicks a month. That's traffic, 24,000 hits a month, and then that's their budget, 17,000. And look below that. I mean, this is really cool. It shows you all the keywords. Right? This is about doing things intelligently, not wasting your money. You can pull your competitors' keywords from this software, and you can import them right into Google or Bing. It's fantastic. It's a real time saver. It makes it super efficient. And you can do it based, what they're paying. What the cost per click is and the monthly cost. I mean, it's so critical to be using tools like this so you're spending your dollars wisely. So this is another way to do it. After you've done we've done a lot. I went through that quickly, but after you've done all this market research, you're looking at the key players and the trends, the traffic, the channels, the keywords, the budgets. I went through all that fast, but after you do all that, you come to a conclusion, right? Like, well, what are we going to do for the client? In this case, like I said, it was a no-brainer. The client wants results. They want them fast. So we're going after paid search. We're going to go after Google ads. We're going to go after Bing ads, because those are the top channels that the competitors are reaping the rewards from. The next step is to forecast, right? This is super, super critical, right? Google has a tool called the Google Keyword Planner. Once again, I have links to all of these tools. You do have to have a Google Ads account in order to use this tool. So know that. I believe you can sign up for free. You don't have to pay. But once you sign up for your Google Ad account, you can use this tool. Within that tool, you can start searching for keywords and finding new keywords. So you can take those keywords from SpyFu that I just showed you, and you can import them into their forecasting tool, or not, or you can start from scratch. It's up to you. But after you input those keywords, it'll output to you projections. It'll tell you for those keywords, you can expect $110,000 a month in revenue based on your conversion rate. And this is what's so cool about this. You can input, see right here where I put the 0.27 conversion rate. So this is actual forecast, actual projections for fountains.com for this client. And this is all based on a $5,000 a month pay-per-click budget. Sure, $5,000 a month sounds like a lot to a lot of small business owners, but look at the forecast. We're forecasting 30 conversions a month times that 3,500. That's $110,000 a month in revenue. That's an incredible ROI. And this is solid data coming directly from Google. And the conversion rate is yours. Like, always use your own real conversion rate if you have it. If you don't have your own conversion rate to plug in, there's industry conversion rate reports out there. We have them. We have it for every industry. Once again, you can contact me. I'll be happy to share those with you. So
now, Roger,
yeah.
do you guys like use this as a way to sort of hold yourselves accountable? Like, okay, here's what we think we can do. Now we've turned on the ads. What are we actually doing?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. That's also partially a segue for later into Sales Nexus is, we use Sales Nexus, Craig's CRM platform, to input all of our leads into the pipeline. As those leads are coming in, we are converting them into paying customers, and we're training our clients like fountains.com to log into Sales Nexus, take those leads and put them as won or lost. And if they're won, put a value to them. Okay. And then in Sales Nexus, that's what's great. You can run reports and you can show that, out of the leads that came from my paid search efforts, I received $110,000 a month in revenue this month. Right. So yes, we are very accountable. We use the Sales Nexus platform, Craig, as you know, to track that, and then share that with our clients, actually training them constantly on how to use your platform, so they can track the ROI constantly. So that's a great question.
Yeah, and we'll dig into that a little more, like how that actually works in Sales Nexus here towards the end.
Perfect. So we want to also then look at, what kind of ad copy are the competitors writing? Once again, this is great. You can pull this information from SEMrush or SpyFu. There's other tools out there, but it'll show you the actual ads they're writing and how much they're served, how much they're on top of the page, what their average position is. This is great, guys. You can also export these ads and you can have your writers rewrite them, right, to be your own. But you can see what's working well for your competitors, right? Why always start from scratch and guess and do what Craig said, hope marketing. You don't want to do hope marketing. Look at what's working well, and then do it better, improve upon it. Okay, so we also want to look at the designs that are out there. Once again, you can pull their designs from SEMrush. Facebook has it's called Facebook Ad Transparency. You can look at all the ads. If you Google that, you'll see Facebook shows you all the ads of all your competitors on Facebook. It's pretty powerful. It's really awesome. This one's coming from SEMrush, but you can look at the banners that they're designing. And if you like them, you can have your designers or yourself, if you're a designer, recreate this similar thing. But this is just more intelligence that keeps you informed and kind of inspires you and gives you ideas on what other people are doing. This is an actual screenshot of fountains.com. This is just a sample, but you want to run the same kind of forecast on Bing and Yahoo. They also have a keyword planning tool. You can actually import right from Google ads into Bing, into your Bing campaign. And that makes it really simple to sync it right up. So it takes a lot of the work out. But once
for the people that are just kind of getting started with this kind of stuff, would you recommend that they try to do Bing and Yahoo and Google all in the beginning, or start with Google and then, how important is Bing, I guess?
That's a great question. I think Bing is just icing on the cake. Google, I would definitely lead forward with Google. In this case, Fountains had the extra budget to kind of just throw at Bing. It's probably a quarter of the budget of Google. The results are not as good as Google. Bing is just kind of, like I said, icing on the cake. But I will say this about Bing: it's substantially cheaper when in regards to cost per click. So it almost doesn't hurt to throw it in there and try out Bing, and you can get a lot of impressions and a lot of clicks. So if you want exposure, Bing's a great place to be. Not always as many conversions as Google, though. Now, for this client, we recommended Google and Bing, but I just wanted to show you guys real quick. You can pull these same kind of forecasts and projections from other channels. In Facebook, it's called the Facebook Business Manager. And if you log into the Facebook Business Manager, you can input your audience demographics, the geographic target, their interests, like all of this information, and it will output, how much traffic per day or per month that you can expect. In this case, for a $50 a day budget, 92 to 266 hits per day to your site. Once again, just another great way to forecast, how many leads or sales that you can get from Facebook. Instagram is the same way. Now, Instagram's tricky. Just to let you know, pro tip here, you have to do forecasting through your cell phone. I haven't found another way to do it. Haven't found another tool to do it. Maybe, Craig, we need to get together and invent that tool, make a widget online in the cloud for people. But currently, you have to log into your phone and log into your business account and act like you're creating an ad in order to pull these forecasts. But it can be done, and it's something that should be done if you're going to advertise on Instagram. LinkedIn also, you go in, you set up a draft campaign in LinkedIn, you put in all the same kind of stuff, the geographic target, the demographic target, the company size. There's a million different ways to kind of hone in on LinkedIn. That's the power of LinkedIn, especially for B2B. And once again, you'll see to the right that it'll output your forecasts. 43 to 260 clicks in a 30-day period. That's up to 42 leads per day. And so it gives you some really good metrics. So for the amount you're spending, you'll know what you can expect. And then if you know how many leads you're going to be converting, then you know how many customers you can expect from that too. So this is just ways
for our B2B people, that this is really interesting, but I just want to be clear. What you're talking about here is advertisements. It's not the same as, like, I talk to salespeople all the time and they're always telling me, well, I go to LinkedIn and I look up people, I use Sales Navigator, I find prospects and I start messaging them and that kind of thing. This is different, right?
Yeah, that's correct. This is ads inside LinkedIn. This is really focused on the kind of the paid search side of things. But yeah, that's a good question. It's not for a more like organic post in LinkedIn. This is more for like image-based ads that show up inside the news feed or the sponsored ads on the right-hand side, or you can also do video ads as well. So there's lots of different ways, but this is all for for their pay-per-click program. I will tell you though, LinkedIn is a little pricey. The lowest cost per click they will even allow you at is $4.50 per click. Okay. And that kind of sucks that you can't drop it lower than that. Facebook is like a fourth of that price. So that's why we love Facebook. But LinkedIn is awesome because you can really target B2B hardcore, and you can even target a specific company. Like, we want to only target ExxonMobil employees that have been there for 10 years that are C-level execs. So it gets really granular. So I suppose that's why their fees are higher, because they know they have some extremely valuable data there.
Yeah. We have a generalized question, kind of more based on content digital marketing, from Tim. He's asking, what do you find that video does for your return on investment? Obviously, as opposed to imagery and that sort of thing. That's a great question.
Videos are fantastic. Okay. When we run video ads, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, our click-through ratio, so the amount of clicks that we're getting is much higher than image-based ads. And also our conversion rate is also substantially higher. I'd have to kind of look back at our exact numbers on what that is, but we always do substantially better for ourselves and for our clients. So when we run video ads compared to image-based ads. And better than just one image-based ad is also the carousel ads. In Facebook, they call them catalog ads, because you can sync a whole catalog to it and just scroll for days and days and days, which is a really cool way to do it. But those even work better. It goes image is good, carousel's better, and then video. To me, and what our experience, video has been the best. So I think.
Yeah, and we see videos multiply the click-through rate on an email by 2 times, so it's twice as good.
Yeah, so. And when you think about it at its essence, is that really it's about the movement. it's about you're scrolling on and seeing something move and it catches your attention. And the more it moves, the more it keeps your attention. So that's why an image is good, because it's cool. It's an image, right? But then if the image is moving and it's a carousel, that's even better. But if it's a constantly moving mirage of images like a video, that's what sustains the attention.
Yeah, no, that's correct. I would 100% agree with that. So I highly encourage people to use it. I'm gonna try to hurry a little bit because I know, Craig, I'm at 30 minutes already on my talking. But you guys feel free to cut me off if you need to. So video is critical. It's important. Another pro tip for you guys, we use promo.com sometimes to create quick videos. There's a lot of stock video footage. You can put in the text, you can paste in the videos, and it'll create the whole thing for you that you can export and download. And that's for the, if you don't have your own videos or you don't want to spend money on a video production team, it works really great. It's a great tool. The next thing you want to get into is the web sales funnel optimization. You want to create great landing pages that convert or modify your existing landing pages. That's where you're putting the traffic to. It's critical that those are incredible landing pages that will convert. You want to install conversion tracking code so you can make sure you know how many people are converting from your paid search efforts. You want to do ongoing split testing of your ads. Never just stick with one ad. Try new ads out. Try new ad copy out. Try new designs out. Multivariate testing. So that's where if you find a winning ad that's working the best, then you start making slight variations on that ad, like the color or the font. That's multivariate testing. All this is critical to increasing your conversion rate, increasing your sales. And that gets into the overall web sales funnel analysis. So you can actually use more sophisticated tools like we do. We use one called funnelytics.io. It's an incredible tool where you can sync actual conversion data to your funnels in your process. So you can know the metrics on each of the pages in your funnel process and how well they're doing, and then where you need to tweak things. So that's a very advanced platform, but if you want to get there and do something more advanced, then that's a great tool. The last step is writing, designing, deploying your ad copy, right? You want to write it, design it, deploy it, right? Pretty self-explanatory. And then launch and test. So on this, it's important that after you launch, you're tracking everything, right? And so your KPI tracking is critical. You can set, sales goals in Google Analytics, which is great, but you can also set those goals in Sales Nexus, and you can track, your channel performance in Sales Nexus, CRM, which is super powerful. You have to be using a customer sales pipeline management tool like Sales Nexus. You have to know where your ROI is coming from. Then you want to track your split testing, your funnels. You want to track everything, right? And we have a proprietary platform we call Fairmetrics, where it pulls in all this data into one kind of really cool, slick dashboard. Your paid search, your SEO, your social media, your organic, like everything into one dashboard, so our clients can see that and look at it on a daily basis. Of course, going over it with their account managers. And nurturing with Sales Nexus too. So as you're bringing leads in, right, people are converting. Let's say it's a lead, not an e-commerce company. You want to nurture them into a conversion point. So with Sales Nexus, that's another really cool feature, because you can do what's called auto drip, also called marketing automation, where emails can get automatically sent over and over to the customers. Let's say trying to entice them to either purchase something or book an appointment with you. And that's one of the powerful features of Sales Nexus. Of course, adjusting and pivoting is critical. Always be adjusting and pivoting your strategy. For fountains.com, this is some actual results from this client. In 2018, they did $245,000 for the entire year, right? So that was it. So you saw that on slide 1. By 2020, this is where we're at now. We're only into September. This was from August. We're up to $650,000 in sales in August. So, I mean, look at that. It's triple for the whole year of 2018.
Incredible.
Yeah. So some incredible results. These are actual results. So we're on track to hit that over $1 million mark, hit that KPI for our client. Sure, it took a couple years to get there. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's been a steady increase and something, that we're really, really proud of. And like I said, something that you guys can learn. If you have the time, there are the tools that are out there that I shared with you today that you don't have to hire an agency. You can actually learn this and do this yourself. And then we have some incentive. This is the good part, right? So all of that I went through today, my team will be happy to build this out. We'll build a full revenue roadmap, the entire presentation you just saw for free for your business, after you at least just have a discovery call with our team. So you just have to have that call. And after you do so, we'd be more than happy to build this revenue roadmap out for you at no charge whatsoever. Yes, it does take us a lot of time to do this, but this is part of the incentive, part of being on the webinar, and we wanted to offer something. And a matter of fact, we do something even better. If you sign up for us with Fair Marketing as a client, we're going to throw in one free seat of Sales Nexus CRM, and that's indefinite. So as long as you're a client, you get at least one seat on the Sales Nexus platform. This is just a little bit about our company. I spoke about how we've been in business 15 years. Lots of awards we've won, Inc. 5000, BBB, Awards of Excellence. I won't talk too much about this and brag on us too much, but we're obviously very proud of ourselves and our company and where we've been and what we're doing and where we're going. So, and then I guess that's it for me. Craig, Mila, take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to turn my screen back on. And Roger, just first of all, thank you. That was great. I wrote down like 5 or 6 things that I learned that I'm going to be following up on. So
Same.
that was awesome.
Very informative.
And for everybody on the call, just so you understand this, Roger and I have gotten to where we're partners now, as Roger just kind of explained, that their clients now use Sales Nexus for lead nurturing and measuring the ROI and things like that. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But the way Roger and I got together was really organic. Roger's on the board at the BBB, at the Better Business Bureau here in Houston. And I was asked to be on their marketing committee. And so that's how Roger and I met. And we just sat there on the board together, learning from each other for, a couple of years. And, I started to realize, because a lot of people in digital marketing kind of came through that committee and left. And I started to realize that Roger had some knowledge that not everybody else in that industry had. And he and I got to working together. And this revenue roadmap, it's just this. Fair Marketing is the only company I've ever seen actually do that. And to me, it's like I mentioned earlier, it's all about having a benchmark that you can use to hold the process accountable, because it's not just, you might be working with a company like Fair Marketing. You might have internal people on your team doing this stuff for you. You might have all of that. You might have 3 or 4 different entities you're working with, and you got to hold them all accountable. Otherwise, somebody's going to be blowing your money, right? So you need a framework like this in order to do it. So the revenue roadmap that you mentioned, doing that with you, that's no charge, right, Roger?
That's right. Yep, that's absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we've done many where people have not signed up, for our, but it's definitely worth it. We're more than happy to do that. We want to help out small business owners, even if they don't sign up for our services. We don't pressure them, so it's all good. We're happy to educate.
Right.
And I put the link here in the chat for everyone. So if you look over at the chat, that's where you can schedule on Roger's calendar.
Well, real quick, because we're getting close to the end here. We got 10 more minutes, and we've got a couple of things we want to cover. As Roger mentioned, the thing that we see at Sales Nexus with companies, even companies that are spending a lot of money on digital marketing already, and they believe that they really got it all working great for them. They're getting a lot of leads, What we see is they're doing a terrible job, almost across the board, terrible job of following up on those leads, right? So almost always it's some process where the boss gets the lead in his inbox, right? Well, he's a busy guy. He's running a business. He's not always sitting there checking his inbox, right? So it may be 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, heck, sometimes a day till he even forwards that email to somebody who can follow up on it, right? Well, that's a mistake right there. And then they're not doing a good job of staying in touch with those leads. Some people sign up on your form because they're interested at that moment, but then, you know, the next day it's kind of not as important to them, and they just kind of don't take the next step. But that does not mean that you should ignore them. You just got to be there for them when they're ready again, right? So these are the two reasons we see people failing, especially in the B2B world, with digital marketing in terms of actually closing sales. So the question you got to ask yourself, how fast do you call your new leads today? How long does it take, typically, on average? And how many touches does a new lead get before you just kind of forget about them and ignore them? You need to know the answer to those questions, because here's the facts. It needs to be that you're calling them in less than 15 minutes. That's what it takes to be successful. You need to be reaching out to them. If you're in a B2B world where you got to get them on the phone and sell them something, you got to call them within 15 minutes. Because you have to assume that they also filled out your competitor's form. So it's basically whoever gets there first wins. Game over. And you need to touch them more than 10 times, at least. That's a minimum. 10 times. That means either you're calling them 10 times or you're calling them 2 or 3 times and you're sending them 7 or 8 emails, some combination thereof. That's what it takes. Here's the facts. This is a study that was done, I think, by Inside Sales. And what they found, here's the rate of success for a new lead from your website based on the time it takes you to respond to them. So if you get them in 5 minutes, man, you're guaranteed to be successful, right? But 5 minutes, that's tough. You got to have a process, right? 10 minutes, you're still doing okay. But even by 15 minutes, it starts to really fall off a lot. And if you get past 30 minutes, you might as well be just throwing those leads in the toilet. I mean, really. So don't do that.
I'm doing this, I'm taking a screenshot right now, and I'm sending this to my sales team. This is big.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you fix this problem, right? So let's say I'm on the fountains.com website here, right? And, you know, I've looked through all the inventory and everything, and I like what I see, but I got some questions. There's some details. I want something special. I want something custom, right? So I go to your Contact Us form and I fill it out, right? Well, that should not go to Roger's inbox, right? Or Roger's client's inbox. It should go straight to the salesperson who's most enabled to call them right now, right? So the way you make that happen is the client submits that form, and then boom, that lead shows up in your CRM. In this case, we're using Sales Nexus, and you see right here, here's Arno, urgent, new lead response. So I'm a sales guy. I'm sitting here making these calls, and then Arno jumps right up. Okay, boom, I need to call Arno right now. I'm going to click on his name. I'm going to go to his record. I'm going to click and dial the phone, and I'm on the phone with him in literally potentially seconds, right? And when I'm on the phone with him, I got kind of like a sales script here. Everything that he submitted in that form, like if you have a field in the form of how many bedrooms do you have or what kind of insurance are you looking for, then that'll be right here, front and center, so I know what to talk about with Arno. And everything else, I can start just kind of checking off while I'm talking to him, right? And categorizing him. But before any of that even happened, this entire campaign was scheduled automatically, right? So he filled out that form and he already got an email automatically. But he's also guaranteed to get all these other emails automatically, whether I talk to him on the phone or not. So now he's going to get touched for sure. You're assuring that. And that's one key part of the strategy, right? Then you call them quickly, you get them on the phone, you start learning about their needs and categorizing them. And let's say that you want to keep track, okay, when we call them, are they not interested? Do they say, don't ever call me again? Or do we just not get them? Are they just a new prospect kind of interested? Or are they a hot opportunity, right? And if they're a hot opportunity, then I want to take them off of this auto drip generic campaign and put them on a whole different type of campaign, right? But I'm going to mark Arno as a new prospect, and maybe I'll schedule, a call to call him back on Monday or something. And then I'm just going to go to somebody else on my task list. And when I call him and say he's a hot opportunity, then boom, a new campaign has been triggered for him automatically, right? So I go to my task list and I call all these leads that are coming in, and they're automatically going on the right follow-up campaigns to make sure they're getting dripped on and they're getting touched. And the sales guy is going to call them 10 times if that's what you think is appropriate. And you'll have accountability on that, right? Now, here's what Roger was talking about earlier. So now I want to look at the end of the month and the end of the week as often as you need to. How are we doing? How much money are we making by spending all this money on digital marketing, right? Well, it's right here. By lead source, how much money is coming in, right? Our search engine optimization, that's where we're generating a lot of profits, right? Our AdWords, not so much. We need to tune that up, right? But now you can see it because it's all in one system. Sales Nexus will track, we'll know when they filled out this form, did they come from AdWords or not? Or did they come from Facebook? Or did they find you through an SEO search? We'll know that, and you'll be able to repeat on that. So that's really the key. All right, so let me go back to the slides here and, oops, back up. That's what I just talked about, just tracking that ROI from start to finish, all the way through. Now, Roger talked about the discovery call. So you're going to get an email later with links to schedule a discovery call with Roger's team. You're going to get a link to start a free trial Sales Nexus if you don't already have it. And you're also going to get a recording of this webinar so that you can go back and reference things, share it with others, and so on. But to encourage you to take the next step with fair marketing, because I know if you're successful with digital marketing, then Sales Nexus is going to be that much more powerful for you. So I want you to take this next step. Sales Nexus is going to, if you book your discovery call with fair marketing before the end of this month, by October 1, and it's not going to cost you anything. You just got to book a call, right? Sales Nexus will give you 500 free contacts in the industries that you're targeting. You get to choose them with their emails and mobile numbers and everything. You can load them into your Sales Nexus system and start sending them emails. So that's our way of giving you a way to kind of jumpstart things while you're working with Roger and his team to get ad campaigns set up and so on. So you can get started right away generating leads and working on scaling things up with digital marketing. So right here are the links. Here's how you book that discovery call. Again, you're going to get an email that has that link in it. And here's how you start a free trial of Sales Nexus. Mila, any last questions or anything we need to target before we wrap it up here?
I don't think so. I think I answered most of them in the chat.
Great. Thank you.
I had one
Roger,
more.
thank you very much for everything. This has been really great.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Craig. I was just going to say one more last thing before we wrap it up. By the way, thank you so much for having me on as a guest today. I really appreciate that. The one thing I didn't mention, we really didn't talk a lot about SEO today, but I will tell you that my company has spent the last 5 years developing a SaaS platform for SEO, which also mimics the revenue roadmap. It's all about reverse engineering your competitors, knowing exactly what they're doing so you can beat them at the SEO game and do it in an automated fashion, which is really simple, like a step-by-step process. And that tool is called Rank Hacker. So it's at rankhacker.com, and you can get a free trial sign up there by just going to the website.
Yeah, for sure. I recommend anybody that's concerned about SEO to definitely sign up for that. It's like the revenue roadmap that all these tools that Roger showed us where he's seeing what your competitors are doing with advertising. Rank Hacker does the same thing for your SEO. It'll tell you what keywords and what specific content your competitors are driving traffic with. So it's really valuable.
Yeah, and leads and sales forecasting for each keyword and everything. So you know what kind of ROI you're going to get if you get ranked for those keywords organically. And it produces monthly backlink goals that you need to hit. Some really unique value to it that no other SEO tool has today. So.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for another webinar with Roger. I'm sure we'll have him back next year to do an SEO focused one because.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
How about next month? Why do we have to wait a year?
Yeah. Well, we could.
Yeah. No, this has really been great. I think that, Roger, you're really hitting a pain point for just about anybody that owns a business or is trying to ramp up sales. And really appreciate you just kind of opened up the kimono and showed everybody how you do this. So that's awesome.
Yeah. No problem. It's my pleasure. I really, obviously you can see that I'm passionate about digital marketing. I've been doing it a long time, but I'm very passionate about it. We love what we do. And yeah, so it was great to kind of share that with everybody today. So thanks again for having me on.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for being here and joining us. We really appreciate your time. And as I said, you'll be getting emails that'll have these links to start the discovery call with Fair Marketing and start your free trial of Sales Nexus. And also you'll get a recording. And of course, because you joined today's webinar, you can bet that our team will be automatically alerted to reach out to you and get your feedback and see how we can help you. So we'll be in touch. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.